Hello from the House. I'm Mary Wolf, and I represent Iowa House District 98, which is the northeastern part of Clinton County in the Iowa House of Representatives. And I am here today at my desk in the Iowa House of Representatives. It's Thursday, January 18th. This is the last day of the second week of the 2018 legislative session, and I think this is my sixth video blog installment, so thanks for watching. Today I'm going to talk to you about House File 113. It's a bill that I filed, and I filed a similar bill, at least 3 or 4 times over the past 8 years. Here's what it does. So in Iowa, as in about 8 other states, if a person is convicted of any level of drug offense, that conviction is certified to the Department of Transportation, and they are required by law to suspend that person's driving privileges, or actually suspend their Iowa license for 6 months, okay? And if by chance the person doesn't have an Iowa license, if at any time in the future they apply for an Iowa license, they'll be granted a license, but then they'll also be told, now that we've given you a license, we're going to suspend it for 6 months based on that 4 or 5 or 6-year-old possession of marijuana conviction. So this doesn't make a lot of sense for various reasons. First of all, it doesn't act as a deterrent. People aren't like, well, I'm not going to keep my marijuana in my sock drawer because if I'm caught, I'm going to lose my license for 6 months. Most people don't even know about this. There also isn't much of a rational basis. I mean, why would you suspend someone's driving privileges for 6 months because they possess a small amount of marijuana, not in their car, et cetera, et cetera. So usually we like a punishment, or if you're going to suspend a license, it should be based on a driving-related criminal offense. So this came about back in the 70s. The federal government wanted to get tough on drugs, so they promised states additional federal highway funds if they would pass laws that did suspend drivers' licenses based on convictions for drugs. So most of the states did it, including Iowa. Since then, all but I think 8 states have repealed those laws because they found, for all sorts of reasons, they don't make sense. They're, not fair, and that usually it's poor people that end up having this happen to them. And it keeps people from getting to their jobs, it keeps people from getting their kids to school, et cetera, et cetera. There are all sorts of problems. The big thing is, I think the feeling is that it's not appropriate for the government to be taking away driving rights based on a conviction that doesn't have anything to do with driving. So in Iowa, I've been advocating for this for a long time. The stats say that about 5,000 people annually, and that's just an estimate, approximate, but end up losing their Iowa license because of drug-related convictions. There's also probably a lot more who end up losing their license down the road when they get a license because they don't have one now. So point is, I think people acknowledge, both Republicans and Democrats, that we want to kind of make sure that laws make sense, they serve a purpose, and again, there's a desire to kind of do away with some of the license sanctions that don't have anything to do with driving. So I think people are ready to do this. The problem is that we will lose hundreds of millions maybe in federal highway fundings if we don't do it right. And so what we have to do is both the House and the Senate have to pass a resolution stating that the Iowa General Assembly declares that we wish to repeal this particular law, or that we do not feel that this is an appropriate use of government authority, something like that. And then the governor has to she has to ratify it, she has to accept it, she has to do whatever it is that the government does. So there has to be a statement, an affirmative statement made by the General Assembly that, yeah, we understand what this law does, we don't think there's a need for it anymore, and we want to get rid of it. And we do that and then send that to DC, then Iowa doesn't lose federal highway funds. So I think this is a kind of bill, it seems like a little thing, but it's a bill that will have an impact on thousands of people each year, and hopefully will reduce the number of people who are driving on our streets without insurance, who are driving without valid licenses, and it will allow people who are convicted of a drug offense to continue to work, to continue to go to and from their substance abuse treatment, whatever, and not end up breaking the law by driving illegally. So what do you think? I know some people out there, I know you think all she ever talks about is bills that help criminals, or that's all she cares about. That's not true. Work on all sorts of other bills. It's just that as it happens, criminal law is kind of my area of expertise. It's what I know a lot about. There aren't that many that many legislators out here that know much about that area of the law. And so I end up handling a lot of the bills that are related to the criminal justice system. And so that's one of them. I think we might be dealing with that this year. Let me know what you think. It's a good idea, bad idea.